This video will cover major-specific information for majors in the history department. These include history and law history and culture. We will review major curriculum, sample course plans, GEs, and exam credit, as well as departmental opportunities and resources. First, we will take a look at the standard history major. The major requires 10 courses, no more than 4 of which may be at the lower division, 100 or 200 level. The history major can be broken down into 4 groups of requirements. The first and most straightforward block is your History 201 Approaches to History course. Next, students are expected to take at least one history course in each of the 4 listed geographic areas: Asia, Eurasia, the Americas, North, Central, and/or South, Europe and the Mediterranean, and global and transnational. At USC, this last area covers history that spans multiple regions or focuses on a region not already listed, like Africa. You will also be expected to take courses in different time periods. You will need to take 2 courses that focus on pre-1800s history and 2 courses that focus on post-1800s history. Courses that count toward the temporal requirement can overlap and count for the geographic requirement, but you will always need to take 10 courses toward the major. Finally, you will need to take a 400 level seminar course to fulfill your major capstone requirement. You should know that in total, you will need to take 2 400 level courses towards the major between now and graduation. This is a sample of what a typical first semester would look like for a history major. Students will take a GE seminar, second GE course, History 201, and either a foreign language course, third GE course, or a degree elective. You also have the option to take a second history major course, if you would prefer. Your advisor will prepare a personalized course plan based on any coursework or exams you transferred in prior to starting at USC. Please note that full-time tuition at USC covers 12 to 18 units, so students have the option to enroll in additional 1 to 2 unit electives if they wish. This is a sample 4-year course plan for the history major. The dark red squares represent GE, writing, and language requirements that would stay the same regardless of what major you have in Dornsife. The orange squares represent your major courses. You do not need to complete these major courses in the specific order that they are listed, though we recommend taking History 201 first and waiting until after your first semester to take upper division or 300 and 400 level courses. The yellow boxes represent degree elective courses. These are courses you will need to complete to reach the 128 unit requirement to graduate from USC. But they do not need to count toward your major or GE requirements. They can go towards a second major, a minor, or be courses that you are simply interested in taking but do not want to apply to a formal course of study. Next, we have the curriculum for the Law, History, and Culture major. This interdisciplinary major consists of 4 categories called core competencies that add up to a total of 9 courses. These core competencies do not need to be completed in order. Core Competence 1, Legal Reasoning, requires only 1 course, Law 300. Core Competence 2 looks at historical approaches and requires 3 courses from a list of courses in the Classics, History, Law, and Religion departments. Core Competence 3 looks at literary, philosophical, and theoretical perspectives and requires 2 courses from a list including Comparative Literature, English, Gender and Sexuality Studies, Judaic Studies, Philosophy, and Religion courses. And finally, Core Competence 4 looks at social movements and social policy. You will choose 3 courses from a list of courses in American Studies and Ethnicity, Law, and Political Science. A couple of things to note about these requirements. You may only take 2 lower division, 100 or 200 level, courses towards this major, and only 1 lower division course in a single area of competence. Secondly, there are some courses that are listed in multiple competencies, but they will only count for 1. Finally, even though Law 300 is listed in Core Competence 1, it's highly recommended that you take a lower division law course before taking Law 300. There are major eligible lower division law courses in Core Competencies 2 and 4. Here is a sample of a first semester course plan for a law history and culture major. You will notice that it looks very similar to the history major's first semester. The main difference is that instead of History 201, you will take a course towards the law, history, and culture major. It is recommended for students to take a lower division, 100 or 200 level course in Core Competencies 2, 3, or 4. Your advisor will prepare a personalized course plan based on any coursework or exams you transferred in prior to starting at USC. Please note that full-time tuition at USC covers 12 to 18 units, so students have the option to enroll in an additional 1 to 2 unit electives if they like. Here is a sample of a 4-year course plan for the law, history, and culture major. It has the same red blocks for GEs, language and writing, and yellow elective blocks, but the orange blocks are specific to the law, history, and culture major. You will notice that in the first 2 semesters, we mentioned that courses you take toward Core Competency 2 would fulfill your GEB requirement. We will talk a little more about that in the next slide. Like in the history major, you do not need to complete your major coursework in the order that it is listed. Now, let's talk about GEs and exam credits. For history majors, your AP and IB higher level scores in regional history exams may count towards one lower division geographic requirement. However, if this is a region that you enjoy studying, please talk to your advisor about whether having your exam score applied to your major is in your best interest. For both history and law, history, and culture majors, you may find courses that overlap with major requirements in GEs B, C, G, and H. Finally, let's talk about some of the opportunities and resources available in the history department. First, if you are interested in research and would like a chance to have your research published, consider working with the Scroll. CLEO is the History Department Student Association so that you can meet and interact with fellow history fans. For those interested in honors societies, consider joining the local chapter of Phi Alpha Thera. And finally, the History Department offers several travel courses in the spring semester through the Maymester and Springtail programs. For more information about all of these opportunities, please visit the History Department website under the Undergraduate Studies tab.